Right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our free webinar for February, the role of emotional intelligence or EQ in change management. Ayan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. And thank you for those who came in early. Ayan, maraming salamat. And those who are joining us, ayan, welcome. And I hope that in the next hour, 1.5 hour, marami po kayong makuhang inputs, ano, and insights from our topic today, which is, again, the role of emotional intelligence in change management. Ayan. So for those who are interested to get a copy of the presentation that will be used this afternoon, you can send us an email at info.tr@talentreachph.org. Ayan. So just a quick check po dun sa ating mga audience today. I know that majority ay naka-attend na ng webinars namin. But for those who are joining for the first time, can you type 1 on the chat box kung ito ay inyong first time to join? Ayan. So, madami-dami din pala. Okay. Ayan. Welcome. Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aimee Turla. I am the project manager for Talent Reach. We have been doing this free webinar programs since back in the pandemic no, nag-start. I think we started around April ng 2020. The topic was creating work from home policies, which was grabe. Talagang hindi nagkakasya ang mga attendees noon sa Zoom. Ayan. So we had to do even a repeat just so we can accommodate those who were not able to attend. Ayan. Okay. So before we start, I would just like to share with you what you can expect no, from Talent Reach. And for the benefit of those who are joining us, I would like to introduce Talent Reach and what we offer. So allow me to just share my screen. Bigyan niyo lang po ako ng a few minutes, no? Okay, let me just share my screen. Ayan. Alright. Okay. Okay. Okay, ayan. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Yan. Okay, so who is Talent Reach? So we started back in 2015, no? So we are a training, HR training and management consultancies company, and we've been empowering organizations through our strategic people solutions. So we specialize in designing and delivering customized training programs such as leadership, development, performance management, and also HR consulting services because our trainer, speaker, and our managing director is a full-time consultant. Ayan. Here are our core services, the consultancy services that we provide. So ayan, HR administration, performance management, job evaluation. These are some of the training programs that we've conducted. These are our in-demand. No? So majority of our clients, ito yung mga training programs that they collaborate with us. Basic supervisory, people management, essentials of coaching, coaching skills, performance coaching, and of course, our signature program, which is the Discovering Emotional Intelligence and Developing Emotional Intelligence. We also provide ito, nagko-customize kami ng mga training programs, no? So, meron din kami yung mga recruitment and selection, succession planning, and compensation management. So, the brands that you see at the bottom, no, these are some of the companies that we've collaborated with and are still collaborating with. Ito yung aming list of free webinars that you can look forward to. No? So we're having one, itong March 13, may mga maa-adjust lang na dates, but definitely these are the topics are fixed, no? So that's why we invite you to follow us because lahat ng aming updates, we post that in on our Facebook page as well as our LinkedIn and even in YouTube. Ayan. Okay. Ito, this is our upcoming paid webinar. I think we've done this last 2022 pa, no? So we're doing another run. It's Mastering Talent Acquisition Strategies. It's happening on March. It's an online program. So it's a 3-hour program. It's a comprehensive 3-hour program. Ang kagandahan yan, no, the fee that we're collecting for this particular program already allows you to access, no? So dalawa. So this is perfect for your teams. And later on, i-share ko yung kung ano yung special offer namin for those who will be interested to sign up for this. So we'll share the link later. Yan. Okay, these are the other training programs that you can, public training programs that we will be having for 2025. Ayan. So we're gonna have the writing effective job descriptions. We're bringing back the HR skills workshop, and of course, yung aming pinaka-in-demand, no, yung job evaluation and designing pay structure, and our signature program, which is the HR Compass Masterclass, which is yung from the book that our speaker wrote. Yan. And of course, salary structure analysis and budgeting. So, nandyan yung aming mga contact information and also our mobile number. If we're also on Viber, so hanapin nyo lang yung Talent Reach at saka yung number na yan if you would like to inquire. Ayan. So, if you want to get more details, ayan, I will flash this again later, no? But you may scan this. If you want to get more details about the programs that we currently are providing, or if you would like to request some other or a customized program kung meron kayong mga training needs. Ayan. So, again, we're inviting you to follow us on our social media platforms. So that's Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. So, pwede nyo kaming mahanap. So, ayan yung aming, again, yan yung aming mga contact information. So, I do hope that you reach out to us. All right. So, over the last year, no, so we're very happy to share na yung mga milestones that we've had. So, we're going to just share that video, our 2024 highlights for Talent Reach. right, thank you. Okay, so to introduce our speaker, please watch this short video so that you can get to know our trainer and speaker for this afternoon session. All right, so without further ado, here now is our speaker for this afternoon's free webinar, the founder and managing director of Talent Reach, Mr. Ronnie Turla, certified organizational and development professional.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to our free webinar this month, February. So we have decided to talk about the topic on the role of emotional intelligence in change management. No? So this topic, we reviewed yung last year's topic and we saw na this would be a good follow through of what we have discussed from last year, yung topic about the role of emotional intelligence. So today we're going to talk about this very interesting topic, and I think very timely as well, because I think in the workplace right now we are experiencing different changes, a lot of changes in our workplace, coming from our experience, from the pandemic and also the post pandemic era. So now we are traveling towards that. No? And today we're going to talk about how we can use the power of emotional intelligence, especially when we look at change management. No? So again, welcome to everyone here. I see familiar faces, familiar names. No? So thank you very much for spending your time with us for this afternoon. And for those who are attending for the first time. So I hope that you will enjoy and at least you will find this free webinar informative for you. No? And of course, if you can kindly follow us as well so that you can get in touch in terms of our program offerings for the year. We do offer our free and also our paid webinars, so both online and also face to face, as of what Amy has mentioned earlier, yeah. So later, after the topic, after I've discussed the topic itself, we can have some questions. I would gladly answer your questions regarding the topic. So I would appreciate if you can post your questions, reactions, or comments. So we will try to read them later as we close down our program for today. Okay. So I hope that again, you can get some takeaway, particularly for this particular program that we're offering for everyone in the room right now. Okay, so let me now go straight to my presentation regarding the role of emotional intelligence in change management. Okay, so for our topic for today, so again, the title is the role of emotional intelligence in change management, and we're trying to understand, the impact of EI um, in the organizational change, that we're experiencing. And if most of us are in HR, I would suppose that we do encounter a lot of changes, in the workplace right now. That's why trying to learn about emotional intelligence would be very appropriate for us, no, as HR professionals. And I think, no, even yung World Economic Forum has mentioned that, no, that EI, no, is one of the important skill set that we need to learn, no, for us to be able to adapt, no, to the ever changing world that we live in right now. So for today, here are the agenda that we would want to cover for the next few minutes, you know. First off, we will try to understand first, no, what is emotional intelligence, no, and again, no, my passion for and my interest on emotional intelligence started way back when I was in college, no, because when I was in college, no, studying psychology, I found interest in the book of Daniel Goleman, which is entitled Emotional Intelligence. So, and 25 years after that, the book, no, is still in publication. The topic is still a hot discussion for a lot of professionals. So you can see that in the internet right now. No? So that's why it's something that we should be able to appreciate. No? So and of course, aside from understanding emotional intelligence, we're going to look at what is change management. No? So usually the term change management would cater to HR professionals which are also handling the function of OD or yung tinatawag nating organizational development. No? Because as HR, no, we are also exposed to organizational development. For example, no, when let's say when the management implements a new vision and mission, no, or the company implements your core values training, no, for your employees. So these are changes that are not very easy, no, to implement in organizations. Hence, you need to understand what change management is, no. So in this training or this webinar, we're going to look at the interplay, no, between emotional intelligence and change management. Okay, we're going to look at particularly, no, some of the fundamentals as well as some some science behind it. Now later I will be showing to you a particular video. No, I'd like you to listen to that video talking about how stress can actually trigger our brain. No? So ano bang reaction ng brain natin when we're under stress, especially when we're under different changes in the workplace. So that's why studying emotional intelligence comes really from a scientific background. No? So meron yang pinanggagalingang research, sabi nga natin. And of course, we're not just going to talk about EI or change management, but we're also going to talk about what are the strategies that we're going to use, no, para ma-enhance natin yung emotional intelligence natin during the change process, no. And on the last part, I will try to give some case studies and best practices in terms of how to be able to implement yung EI, no, in change management scenarios. Okay, but before we do that, of course, we'd like us to take a very quick survey, no, with this question at hand, no. So ang question natin, what emotional reactions have you experienced in the changes in the workplace, no? So kindly look at your chat box, no? In the chat box, you can see our Mentimeter where you can more or less, no, uh, uh, click, no, yung ating i-click natin yung ating survey. Ayan. Okay, let me pause here for a while. So again, the question is, what are the most common emotional reaction you experience for changes in the workplace? Okay? So kindly click yung mga emotions, no, that you have experienced. So again, this is something you can be as honest as you can based on changes that have happened, no? So would like to just see ano yung common emotional reactions, no, that you are experiencing, no? So kasi mamaya pag-uusapan natin 'yan. Okay. Sige. So we'll allow you some time to be able to answer and more or less, no, we will take a look at what could be the possible emotional reactions that we will have, especially if there are changes in the workplace. Yeah. Okay. So far, we're seeing some trend dun sa ibang emotions natin. Ayan. Okay. So again, no, for those who are inside the Zoom, you may participate by trying to just answer the survey. No? Click nyo lang kung ano yung emotional reaction that you have encountered, no, in in your workplace, no? Especially kung may mga changes na nangyari sa atin. Okay? There, okay. So, yeah. Ayan. So I'm very interesting yung nakikita kong number so far, those for those who are answering. For those who have not yet answered, you may try to answer. Again, this is anonymous naman. Hindi naman lalabas yung mga pangalan nyo dyan. Only your answers will be reflected in the survey. Ayan. Okay. There. Okay. So I think it's quite obvious, no, na no the typical emotional reaction for most of us who are in the room right now have felt no anxiety and fear. Okay, so I think this is something very that's why I wanted to run the survey because I wanted to see ano yung most common, and I think tama yung nakikita nating result ng survey, no? It looks like no that anxiety and fear tends to be the most common emotional reaction that we will have, no? And of course, next to that would be the excitement and anticipation, which is again another emotion that we will have, no? Ayan. Okay, good. Thank you very much, no, for again all of those participants or our audience right now who answered the survey. So thank you for sharing to us your answer to this particular question. Ayan. Sige. Okay. So thank you for participating in that survey. So let me just continue, no? Talking about our topic, no? So as we've said, we try to look at first, no, understanding what is emotional intelligence, no? As I've mentioned, we specialize on this particular topic, no, because we would want to be really known as a consulting company that try to really improve, no, the EQ of Filipinos in the Philippines, no. So, ayan. Okay, so first off, let's look at what is emotional intelligence, no. So, um, in a nutshell, no, kung titingnan natin, here are what we mean by the components, no, of emotional intelligence, no. Starting off with self-awareness. So, self-awareness is the ability, no, to recognize and understand one's own emotions and their impact on their thoughts and behavior. So, sabi nga natin, if we want to be an effective leader, kailangan meron tayong self-awareness. No? One of the qualities of an effective leader is alam niya yung kanyang strengths and weaknesses. Okay? And because of that, no, it brings about that kind of resonance, no, with your employees, na nakikita ka ng employees na alam mo kung ano yung magaling ka, pero saan ka rin kailangan mo ng tulong. Okay? So that's an important component of being an effective leader. Okay? The second component is self-regulation. No? Self-regulation, simply put, no, if I will summarize the definition, it's about self-control. No, a lot of times we experience impulses and emotions, no, and sometimes, no, what can happen is natitrigger tayo ng mga negative incidences in our organization. Okay, so let's say for example, mali yung binigay ng staff mo, or hindi natuloy yung meeting na supposedly dapat kasama ka. No? So these are simple things that can actually trigger our emotion. No? And because of that, we have to learn how to control our emotion. Okay? And that's where EQ or emotional intelligence comes into the picture. Okay? Now, the third component of emotional intelligence is what we call motivation. No? So motivation, again, refers to the drive to achieve the goals for personal reasons rather than external rewards. No? So usually a person with high emotional intelligence is a person with vision, no? And alam niya yung purpose, bakit niya ginagawa yung isang bagay, no? Doon pumapasok yung motivation natin. When a leader, for example, has motivation, ibig sabihin niyan, meron siyang gustong mangyari. Meron siyang vision that he wants to implement, no, for his team, for the company. At the same time, alam niya yung purpose kung bakit niya ginagawa yung mga activities na yun. Okay? So that's another component of emotional intelligence. Another important component, no, I would say, is empathy. No, so empathy is again the capacity to understand and share the feelings of others. No, facilitating deeper social connection. No, sabi nga natin right now, most of us no need an empathetic leader. No, because kailangan na iintindihan ng leaders natin kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ng employees. That's why no, developing empathy is such a crucial skill that we need to develop at this point, especially for our leaders both in the rank and file position as well as the top management. Okay? And finally, no, another component is our social skills. No? So yung social skills is our ability to effectively deal with others, no? Including yung conflict resolution and effective communication. So a lot of people are, not so keen on conflict resolution. Ayaw nila ng resolving conflict. No? As much as possible, dapat smooth relationship lang. But that is far from reality. No, a lot of times we will have conflict with one another, and we have to be comfortable with it. Okay, so those are again the components of emotional intelligence. Now, why is emotional intelligence important in the workplace in the first place? No, number one, kung makikita natin yung components, no, this will foster collaboration. Okay, emotional intelligence enhances teamwork by promoting understanding amongst employee and leading to better collaboration. So yan yung isang importance bakit kailangan natin ng emotional intelligence. No? Pangalawa, emotional intelligence will actually enhance our leadership effectiveness. No? I have seen this based on research, no, na most of the leaders who are effective at what they do, no, usually pina-assess natin yung kanilang EQ, most of the time mataas siya. Okay? So makikita natin that it can actually enhance our leadership effectiveness. No? Now, another importance of emotional intelligence in the workplace is yung improvement of employee engagement. No? Organizations that prioritize emotional intelligence sees higher employee engagement level and resulting in greater productivity. Okay? So sabi nga natin, no, in a previous webinar before, we've discussed yung employee engagement. No? And again, let me tell you that employee engagement is not about what HR can offer as the activities that we do, no, these are just parang recreational activities, no, but more so kailangan turuan din natin yung leaders natin paano ba natin i-promote yung work-life balance na tinatawag natin, no, kasi kasama yan sa employee engagement natin. Okay, so that's why we need to be able to understand and study emotional intelligence, no, and of course not to forget better communication, no. So usually, a person with high emotional intelligence tends to have clear communication kasi alam niya kung ano yung gusto niyang sabihin, no? One of the skill, no, na nade-develop natin kapag mataas yung ating emotional intelligence is yung assertiveness natin, okay? Ibig sabihin, no, kapag assertive kang tao in terms of your communication, sinasabi mo ano yung mga dapat mong sabihin for your employees, for example. At the same time, pinapakita mo rin na marunong kang makinig, no? You're able to listen, you show empathy to them, no? And then you try to come up with a resolution. So, yun yung importansya bakit kailangan natin ng emotional intelligence in the workplace. Okay? So, now, paano ba natin pwedeng ma-assess ang ating emotional intelligence? So, there are three ways, no, that you can try to assess your emotional intelligence, no? Pwede kang gumamit ng self-report questionnaire, of which, no, I have for the past, I think, 10 years already, no, I have conducted, no, self-report questionnaire, no. Meron kaming tool, no, sa Talent Reach na self-report questionnaire na pwedeng gamitin, no, either for training or also for coaching individual employees or individual leaders. No? Another very good way to assess emotional intelligence is through the 360-degree feedback. No? Medyo quite pricey lang itong 360-degree feedback or yung tinatawag nating multi-rater assessment. No? But in terms of the impact and accuracy, no, mataas ang accuracy na to because obviously, when you do a 360 feedback, no, mag-feedback yung iba-ibang tao na naka-interact mo. Okay? And that will be provided as a report for you. Okay? And of course, finally, another way to assess emotional intelligence is by behavioral assessment, no? And usually to, pwede mo siyang i-observe looking at the behavior in different situation, providing valuable insights for development. Anong example nun? For example, one of the easiest way, no, that I can try to assess your EQ is by observing you, no, when you are angry. Ayan. So, when you're angry, for example, alam ko na kagad kung kaya mong i-control yung anger mo or hindi. So, pwede kang magkaroon ng coaching moment, no? So, kunyari, medyo nag-outburst ka, for example, no? So, pwede kang sabihan na, no, next time, no, para hindi tumaas masyado yung anger mo, no, you can try to look at your self-control, no? So ano ba yung sabi nga natin, worst possible scenario that can happen? Kasi 'di ba minsan kapag angry tayo, parang mabilis tayo ma-trigger kasi nga merong hindi nangyari or hindi nagawa. Okay? So those are ways, for example, that you can observe a person and you can give feedback, no, to another person. So those are ways that we can try to assess our emotional intelligence. Okay? Ayan. Now, since we have understood, no, yung emotional intelligence natin, this time, let's talk about change management, no, so that we can try to see the interplay of EQ and also change management, no? Ayan. So, first off, ano nga ba yung change management, no? So, change management, no, as what I have learned, no, because I have recently completed a course on organizational development, no? And this is one of the interesting topic, no, because kung titignan natin ng change management, no, it could be a structured approach, no? It is a systematic method that will help organization implement changes, no, effectively and efficiently, no? So, meron tayong mga tinatawag na structural change that can happen in an organization. For example, kapag nagkaroon kayo ng reorganization, no? So may changes sa org structure nyo, may bagong manager, may bagong sistema, no? May bagong kultura na gusto nating pa-implement. Those are structural approach that we will do, no? And usually it has a short-term and long-term effect, no, for the company, no? Now, usually ang change management also, meron siyang technical and human aspect, no? Successful change management will address both the technical requirement and the human factors involved in the change process, no? For example, pag nagpapa-implement tayo ng change, um, minsan hindi naiintindihan ng mga mas lower sa atin. That's why may mga technical aspects tayong kailangang baguhin, no? For example, siguro ang mabibigay ko yung example dito is when I took a client, no, na ang ginawa namin is we did a run through of the values, no, of the company, no? So most of the values were in English, no? So in a way, we had to translate that in Tagalog, no, for people to actually in the production to understand. Okay. So by doing so, no, we have tackled yung technical and human aspect. Okay? Kasi change management yun, pinapaintindi mo sa kanila yung value system, no? And because of that, kailangan it should be the language na naiintindihan nila, no? Because communication is so important, no? And of course, when a change happens in an organization, it could lead to sustainable improvement, no? And it will help organization adapt to new circumstances. Now, on the model side, the theoretical side of change management, no? Ito yung tatlo na very famous pagdating sa change management framework. Okay? So we have yung the one from Qatar, no? The 8-step process for the change process. Ayan. Also, we have the Kurt Lewin's change management model, no? Wherein sinasabi niya yung unfreezing, changing, and refreezing, no? So part ng change model na tinatawag natin. And you also have the ADKAR model, okay? So ito very prominent also, no? That focuses on individual change, no? Looking at the 5 key outcomes for successful change management in an organization. Okay? Of course, we will not discuss this all in all, no? Otherwise, it will already be a full course na gagawin natin, no? But definitely, it is something, no? For most of us, for example, who are in HR, this is something that you can study in advance, no? Especially kung in terms of your career, no? Kung nagiging HR leader na kayo, you're dealing with organizational changes, for example, these are things that you would want to further study, no? That's why I'd want to expose you, no, na ito yung mga models na ginagamit in organization. Okay? Now, just to cite, no, a particular model that I wanted to highlight, no, because personally I have used yung tinatawag na model ni Kurt Lewin. So Kurt Lewin is a psychologist, no, who coined the term force field analysis, no, and sinabi niya the 5 steps to overcome the resistance to change, sabi nga natin, are the following. Number 1, sabi niya, kailangan i-define natin ano ba yung desired change natin for the organization. And then we'll have to analyze it The second step, yung tinatawag ng driving force and as well as the restraining force. Kaya siya tinawag na force field analysis kasi ginamit niya yung physics, no? So ibig sabihin, 'di ba? Kapag may mga changes tayo, ang nangyayari sa atin, merong mga forces that will force people to actually go with the change. Pero meron ding mga changes, no? May mga forces, no, that can actually restrain the people from implementing the change. Example, 'di ba? Pag sinabi natin ang change may reward, no? Na-motivate tayo, nagkakaroon ng driving force, for example, no? Pero the restraining forces, for example, could mean, no, that we will have to adjust our working process, no? Meron tayong kailangan baguhin doon sa ating mga trabaho, for example. And because of that, no, one of the factors that can actually influence change management is yung personal attachment natin doon sa trabaho. 'Di ba minsan nangyayari sa atin, no, that when we have been so accustomed to our work, no, we have become very personally attached to the work, no, na kapag may binago yung company, no, you are feeling a threat to that particular comfort zone na sinasabi natin. Okay? And because of that, kailangan pag-aralan natin what are those forces that will help you achieve the desired changes, no? And finally, of course, you have to prepare an action plan. Okay? So, again, no, itong mga steps na to, kapag ginawa natin ito sa company, meron tayong analysis na ginagawa para dito. Okay? So we will have to learn how to be able to collect the data, no? Be able to understand behavior of people inside the organization, no? Yan yung mga pinag-aaralan pagdating sa change management, yung sinasabi natin in the organization. Now, ano yung challenges natin kapag nag-implement tayo ng change? Here are some of the more common challenges. Okay. Of course, number one, challenge pag nag-implement tayo ng change is employee resistance. No? The resistance from employees is a very significant barrier to implementing change and it can hinder progress. No? So that's why we need to understand the concern. No? It's a very vital part of understanding change. Okay. The second challenge in implementing change is the lack of a clear vision. Diba? Without a clear vision, organizations can struggle to motivate their teams and align efforts effectively. So yan ang isang reason bakit nagfe-fail ang isang change effort. Makikita natin yan mamaya. No? Pangatlo, insufficient communication. Right? So effective communication is crucial during the change management effort. No? And finally, another challenge in implementing change is to engage the stakeholders. No? Pag sinabi nating stakeholders, ibig sabihin yan, no? This is composed of not just the people who's going to experience the change, but the change implementers themselves, no? Kasi 'di ba minsan, pwedeng nangyayari na because of yung gusto nating mangyaring change effort, no? Hindi natin nakukuha yung support coming from the top management. Minsan very few, no? Minsan isa o dalawa lang, no? So nagkakaroon tayo ng mga conflict between employees, for example. And because of that, that becomes a challenge for implementing change. Okay? So again, all of this I know we experience whenever we implement change. Now, sinabi natin kanina no na resistance yung pinaka common no na encounter natin. So, ano ba yung pinanggagalingan ng resistance coming from employees, no? According to our research, lumalabas na merong 4 na sources of resistance. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Okay, let's talk about this, no? Yung descriptive beliefs, for example, no? Merong minsan paniniwala yung mga employees, for example, kaya sila nagre-resist kasi hindi nila ma-describe para sa sarili nila ano yung change na mangyayari. No? Kailangan i-describe mo sa akin yan. So that could be the source of resistance, no? Pangalawa, no, evaluative beliefs. Anong ibig sabihin niyan, no? Hindi pa tayo nag-implement ng change, no? Immediately pwedeng sabihin ng employee, parang mahirap yata yung papagawa niyo sa amin. Parang hindi kami sanay sa ganyan, no? Wala kaming skill set na para diyan sa change na effort. So nag-evaluate na sila kagad, okay? And because of that, in-evaluate na nila na sa isip nila, no, mahirap yung change. Kaya magkakaroon ng resistance. Okay? Pangatlo is what we call predictive belief. Okay? Ito naman yung sinasabi natin na may mga employees tayo, no? Kaya sila nag-resist, for example, kasi alam nila marami ng changes na nangyari sa company, no? Alam ko hindi rin matutuloy ang change na yan. Okay? So sounds familiar? So in that case, kung familiar yan, yan yung pinanggagalingan ng resistance natin. So again, we have the descriptive belief, evaluative, and predictive, no? And finally, no, isa pang source ng resistance is values. Okay? Yung value system ng isang company and even ng employees could actually form the resistance, no? Especially if you have employees who are very loyal, no? Kasi 'di ba minsan may mga employees tayo na ang personality nila very steady sila, no? Loyal sila for example. Pero wag mong babaguhin yung mga papagawa mo sa kanila kasi no? Hindi hindi yun yung style nila, hindi yun yung personality nila. Ayan. So that could actually influence resistance to them, no? So nakikita natin 'yan pagdating sa employees natin. Okay? Now, naintindihan na natin ngayon kung ano yung emotional intelligence. Alam na rin ngayon natin what is change management, at least the context of it. Let's now try to see what is the interplay between emotional intelligence and change management. Okay. Let me just check with our participant first. No? Tingnan ko muna. Are we all good? Can you give me a thumbs up sign if you're so far learning from this particular webinar? Ayan. There, okay. Thank you for, the thumbs up sign. Ayan. So it gives me a smile, no? Pag nakikita ko nagta-thumbs up kayo, ibig sabihin, hindi kayo natutulog dun sa webinar. Ayan, okay. Okay, so let me continue. Ayan, thank you. So tingnan ngayon natin, ano yung interplay between emotional intelligence and change management. Okay. Pag-usapan muna natin, ito yung survey kanina, di ba? What are the 5 most common emotional reactions to the change in the workplace? We have 5, no? So, pag-usapan natin bawat isa. Okay, let's start with shock and denial. Okay. Usually when faced with significant changes such as organizational restructuring, mergers, or shift in job responsibilities, individuals may initially feel a sense of shock or disbelief. No? This reaction occurs as a result of sudden disruption to their familiar work environment or expectation. So there's a shock. No? That's why there's a word of shock, sabi nga natin. Okay? Now, again, nagkakaroon ng denial because of the shock. It's natural reaction for us. No? So that's the first one. The second is yung tinatawag nating anxiety and fear, which, again, according to the survey earlier, nakita natin that's one of the top, no? Or at least it's the top, no? Emotional reaction. So this emotion, such as concern, no, about job security, impact of change and one's role or responsibility, or the fear of the unknown, no? Usually, ang anxiety is characterized by feeling of uneasiness, worry, and apprehension. No? Employees, again, may experience a sense of restlessness, difficulty in concentrating, or an increased level of stress. No? That's why mamaya, no, meron tayong video na papakita natin kung paano ba tayo naapektuhan itong stress, no, because of the anxiety and fear that we experience. No? Ayan. So fear, on the other hand, typically, it stems from the perceived threat or danger associated with the change. No? For example, employees may feel losing their job, no, not being able to new technologies, or processing or feeling incompetent. No? That's why meron tayong tinatawag na the imposter syndrome. No? Because some people, no, pag may pinagawa kang bago, parang feeling nila, kaya ko ba to? Can I actually fulfill it? No? In that case, kapag inassign mo yung trabaho sa kanya. So there's anxiety and fear. So these are, again, emotional reactions that we would normally experience in the workplace. No? Third, typical emotional reaction would be resistance and anger. No? Employees may resist change, no, due to yung impact of their job security. Kapag yung concerns nila is about job security, yung disruption of established routines, no, or that yung perception nila ng change is unnecessary or hindi naman kinakailangan. No? So ano yung mga manifestation nito pagdating sa resistance? Meron tayong tinatawag na passive resistance. No? Ito yung ignoring or avoiding the change. No? Meron din ka rin tinatawag na active resistance wherein you express disagreement or openly challenge the change. No? So nagkakaroon ka ng active resistance. Or meron ka rin mga tinatawag na passive-aggressive behavior wherein you engage in subtle acts of opposition. So ito yung sinasabi nating patago or patalikod yung kanilang resistance. Okay? So in that case, nagmamanifest siya because of that. No? Now, anger, on the other hand, kung titingnan natin, can emerge no? When employees feel that yung kanilang mga needs, opinions, and contributions are being disregarded or undervalued during the change process. No? Employees may express their anger through overexpression of frustration or through subtle behavior such as increased cynicism. Yung kumbaga parang lagi na lang sarcastic kapag may papagawa ka. No? Or decreased cooperation. Pag sinabi mong, oh, mag-participate ka dun sa meeting, hindi siya nagpa-participate. No? So that could be a subtle way of expressing anger from that person. Okay? So that's another emotional reaction that we will have. Okay. Also, aside from that, we might also feel sadness and grief. Okay? These emotions can arise when individuals will mourn the loss of familiar routines, relationships. No? Kunwari, umalis na yung mga kasamahan niya. Siya na lang yung natira dun sa kanyang group of or circle of friends. No? So this could actually bring about sadness. No? So sadness during workplace change can stem from factors such as loss of familiar physical workplace. Kunyari, nilipat mo siya sa isang workstation na ayaw niya, for example, no? Probably changes in team dynamics. Ayaw niya yung ka-team niya, no? That's why nagiging sad siya. Or the need to let go of previous responsibilities, no, na dating naka-assign sa kanya, no? So again, grief could be a natural response to losses, no? Usually, meron siyang pinagdadaanang stages. Ito yung tinatawag nating Kubler-Ross cycle, no? Yung denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Remember, kapag ang isang tao is under sadness and grief, we have to be able to respect that person's grieving stages. Kasi hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga pwede niya pinagdadaan ng emotional reaction. Okay? Minsan, we need to be able to give some time for that person. That's why, usually, di ba, pag a person lost a person, a significant person in their life, for example, we have to allow them to grieve, no? Or magkaroon sila ng time for themselves. Okay? So this is an important part dun sa emotional reactions na yan. Okay? And finally, also, aside from all those reactions na binanggit natin, pwede rin maging reaction natin is excitement and anticipation. So excitement and anticipation are positive emotional reactions that can be experienced by employees during workplace changes. No? Individuals will experience this emotion, perceives no, the change as an opportunity for growth, development, and positive outcome. No? So for some of our employees, no, nakikita nila doon sa mga pagbabago na nangyayari sa organization, no, nakikita nila, pwede akong magkaroon ng chance to be promoted in this case. Okay? So that will that will create positive outcome. No? Now, another is anticipation. No? If they are hopeful no, for a future outcome, nagkakaroon sila ng optimism. No? Nagiging positive sila. Okay? So makikita mo sa kanila, tumataas yung efficiency nila, mas nagiging collaborative sila because nakikita nila na merong professional growth sa company. Okay? So this is something that could be a positive emotional reaction from our employees. Okay? So again, I have discussed 5 not typical emotional reactions that we have from our workplace. Now, ang question doon is, what do we need to do? No? Since we're talking about emotional intelligence, we have to recognize emotions during that change. Okay? So, yung emotional responses natin to change, such as fear, anxiety, and uncertainty, no? The importance of recognition is crucial for leaders, no? Dismissing the emotion will not do you well as a leader. Okay? Kasi kailangan, no, makita nila na naiintindihan mo, nare-recognize mo yung emotion na yan. And because of that, no, by acknowledging the emotion, we're able, no, to provide the necessary support. So leaders can respond with the appropriate support and guidance, fostering a positive environment. Okay? I remember, no, in my corporate experience, for example, during that time na marami kaming kailangang i-achieve, for example, whenever one of my staff member would experience a failure, no? Ibig sabihin parang hindi niya na-meet yung target, no? So of course, we will try to allow that person no to actually express yung kanyang sadness because of yung hindi niya pag-achieve ng mismong target, no? And I think no nakakatulong sa isang team member natin na alam niya na yung kanyang leader naiintindihan niya kung ano yung pinagdadaanan niya, no? Because if you have gone through failures of achieving a particular target or goal, no, you would understand how it is. No? If you were in the shoes of the other person, yun yung sinasabi natin dito, we need to recognize that emotion. Okay? Now, paano naman natin i-manage ang resistance to change? Una, we need to understand resistance, just like yung mga binanggit ko sa inyo kanina. No? Usually, sabi nga natin, it can come from uncertainty, yung mga fear of the unknown. Kasi that's one of the reasons why people, for example, kaya sila mag-resist kagad kasi hindi naman nila alam yung information. So that's why we have to provide the right information. Okay? Now, the role of emotional intelligence here again is our capacity to recognize and address emotional responses. Kasi pag mababa ang emotional intelligence mo, hindi mo mababasa yung body language ng employees mo. No? Ibig sabihin parang nakikita mo na sa posture niya na parang hindi siya masyadong okay, for example, no? Pero parang hindi ka makakonect sa kanya because ang gusto mo lang magawa is matapos niya yung trabaho niya. Okay? So remember, no, as a leader, we should be able to provide the support to our employees, no? And usually, no, we facilitate smooth transition, no? By addressing concerns empathetically, leaders can facilitate smoother transition, reducing the resistance among our team members. Okay? Ayan. Now, for us to promote a positive change culture in the company, no, kailangan nating embrace yung open communication, building of the trust with our employees, and then of course, kailangan nating makita yung emotional intelligence in our leadership. Okay? And of course, an important component of a positive culture is encouraging feedback. No? Encouraging feedback from employees will empower them. No? Fostering a sense of ownership for the change process. Kaya kapag may change process ka, kailangan nagkakaroon ka ng regular communication with your employees. Hindi pwedeng isang beses lang yung communication. As much as possible, pagdating sa change management, we need to kumbaga parang i-exaggerate natin yung communication natin. Kasi kinakailangan talagang maintindihan ng employee para saan yung change na ginagawa natin. Okay? Yeah. So, those are ways that we can promote a positive change culture. Now, let me now offer to you some other strategies that will enhance our emotional intelligence during the change process. Okay, una, sabi natin, anong strategy natin? Develop our self-awareness and self-regulation. So sabi nga natin, di ba, kailangan na intindihan natin yung emotions. Okay? And of course, we need to manage that particular emotion. And of course, we need composure during the change process. No? Kailangan hindi tayo mag-overreact, sabi nga natin. Okay? So that's one way for us to develop our self-awareness and self-regulation. Another strategy is to improve our empathy and our social skill. No? So the way to do that is to understand different perspective. No? So empathy allows leaders to understand team members, fostering trust and collaboration. Of course, enhancing communication. Okay? And of course, yung pagbibuild natin ng stronger relationship with each other. Okay? Because remember, if you're a manager, for those who are managing people here, one of the best way that you can actually motivate your people is get to know them. Okay? So, ang question dito, for example, if you're a leader, ang tanong ko, kilala mo ba, kunyari yung team member mo, meron siyang family, for example. Ang question ko, kilala mo ba yung mga anak niya? That's a question of whether, if you know that person pretty well. Because when you know that person pretty well, then you can try to motivate kung ano yung mahalaga sa kanya. No? So kung ano yung mahalaga sa kanya, dapat as a leader, mahalaga rin para sa iyo yan. Okay? And that is one way for us to motivate that person kasi alam mo kung ano yung kanyang personality. Okay? So again, that's how we can improve our empathy and our social skills. So some techniques na pwede natin gamitin for effective communication, dapat gamitin natin yung active listening. Okay? So active listening can really help us, no? Of course, yung pagde-deliver natin ng clear information and of course, encouraging dialogues. Okay? So kailangan tayo, no, kailangan natin mag-open up dun sa mga tao natin and encourage people to have a dialogue. Okay? Kasi 'di ba minsan parang masyado nang nagiging very mechanical yung ating setup, no? Kailangan natin na uh, ipaalam sa mga employees natin that we're open to talk, no? And dialogues are a very good way, no? Para magkaroon tayo ng effective communication. Now, sabi natin kanina, no, we need to empathize, no? So, what are ways, no, that we can empathize? So, here are some suggestions for you, no? So, the way to empathize with your team member is to first acknowledge and show interest dun sa mga thoughts and emotions ng team member natin, no? So, uh, specifically, no, pwede niyo sabihin na um, uh, it seems like you are upset, no? And what I'm hearing from you is this, no? For example, so by using those phrases, pinapakita natin kay employee, no, na naiintindihan natin, ina-acknowledge natin yung mismong emotions niya. Okay? So again, remember, acknowledging doesn't imply agreement, no? It's two different things. Ina-acknowledge mo lang. You do not necessarily agree with that particular emotion. Pero, again, the beauty of it is you get to know that person. Kasi alam mo yung kanyang strengths and weaknesses. Okay? Yun yung sinabi natin kanina. Second, focus on the emotion rather than the situation. Okay? So, pwede mong sabihin doon sa person, alam mo, I have had a similar situation na pinagdaanan, no? And I don't want to judge you kung ano yung reaction mo right now, no? But I understand what you're going through. For me, that is a very powerful way, no, to let the person know, no, na nakafocus ka sa emotion but not the situation, no? You're focusing on the individual. Okay? That's second tip for you. Pangatlo, contribute to your team's psychological safety by sharing an aspect of yourself, no? So, again, the way to empathize with another person is to open up yourself for you to be vulnerable. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kapag nalaman ng mga tao na, si sir pala or si ma'am pala, meron din pala siyang pinagdaan ng change process, for example, no? So nakita niya yung opportunity. So the power of stories can actually influence your employees, no, to be convinced na maganda yung change na nangyayari sa company. Okay? That's why pwede niyong gamitin itong mga tips that I have mentioned to you. So I've shared to you 3 particular guidelines on how you can try to empathize with your team members. Okay? Ayan. Now, the question is right now, no? Ang overall pa rin, why does majority of change effort remain unsuccessful? Okay. Now, merong sagot tayo dito because our brain, no, doesn't care about facts. Okay? It cares about safety and belonging. You know, and change is often perceived as a threat to that. Okay? That's the reason why natural yung reaction natin to resist change. Okay? Now, let me share this video with you. No? Ipapaliwanag dito sa video by Joshua Friedman, no? Talking about how the brain affects our stress, no? In the change process. Okay, let's try to listen and watch this particular video.
Unfortunately, stress is going up and it's continuing to go up. Research over the last 30 years says stress has gone up around 25, 30%. And there are all kinds of effects from this increasing stress. But I want to talk about what happens in your brain. There's a little almond-shaped organelle in your brain called your amygdala. And it's where you store your stress reaction patterns, your threat response patterns. And when you perceive something as threat, and it's important, this word perceive, it doesn't mean it actually is a threat. You perceive something as a threat. There's a little part of your brain called the thalamus that's monitoring the traffic through your brain. And when your brain decides, okay, this is a threat, it activates the amygdala. And there's a direct link between the thalamus and the amygdala. So there's a very quick activation. Neuroscientist Joe Ledoux called it the back alley. This is just connection to activate the amygdala. And it's really important to be able to respond quickly to threats. But the problem is, as we become more stressed, that system becomes more sensitive. And as stress is going up, we're more and more likely to perceive things as threats. And we're actually probably missing the data because we're filtering it through this heightened stress response. We're not as accurate in our perceptions, and we're seeing more and more things as a threat. The amygdala kicks in, it floods our brain with these neurohormones related to stress. Our muscles react faster, our blood flow concentrates in our trunk. We get ready to fight, flee, and freeze. Our reproductive system shuts down, our long-term immunity shuts down, our higher order or creative thinking shuts down, our digestive system shuts down. We move into this state where really all we're going to do is fight with the enemy, or hide, or run away. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, the issues that I face most days, those three options aren't really going to be a good solution. The issues that I face most days are going to require a lot of creative and critical thinking. They're going to require a lot of reflective and listening and problem solving. But when we're in this threat response system, all of that part of our brain is shut down. Our social perceptions are shut down. Our reflectiveness is shut down because our brains love efficiency. And in order to be efficient, we turn everything else off to dedicate the resources to survive in this moment of danger. But what if it's not really a moment of danger? Remember, the perception of threat is what's triggering this reaction. And so one of the things that we have to do is to teach ourselves that discomfort, that the chaos that we're in, that the complexity that we're in, it is uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous.
Okay. So I hope, no, again, no, if you look at closely, no, yung video itself, no, as you can see, um, the question is, how do we make our change efforts more successful with EI, no? So let me share this particular study that was done. So according to two reports, no, from the Harvard Business Review, no, it has found that para daw maging successful ang change effort ng isang company, um, kailangan yung leadership should emphasize not just the vision of the change, no, but also the vision of continuity. So, ibig sabihin, ano pa rin yung mag-remain the same, no? Because a lot of times, people fear, no, kapag merong mga threat, as what was mentioned in the video, no? So, in this case, kailangan i-manage pa rin natin ano yung magsistay to be true, no? Or ano yung magko-continue, no? So, there should be that balance of change and also continuity. Remember, emotions will drive people, and people are the one who will drive the performance of the company. Okay? So lagi natin tatandaan 'yon. Okay? Na ang nagpapaikot sa organization are the people in this case. That's why kailangan i-consider natin kung ano yung nararamdaman nila, ano yung emotions nila. Okay? So so as I wrap up yung aking talk for this afternoon, no? I'm nearing the end of my talk right now. So here are just some of the few case studies and real world examples that we can try to implement, no? Again, for successful change initiatives in leveraging emotional intelligence, no? Nakikita natin na kapag ginamit natin yung emotional intelligence, there is enhanced employee engagement, no? There is smoother transition, no? And again, no, there are really case studies that will tell us na because of focusing on emotional intelligence, mas naging madali yung pag-i-implement natin ng change. Okay? Um, Again, what are the lessons that we have learned, no, from failed changes, no? Of course, nakita natin yung role ng emotional intelligence is very critical, no? If we neglect or if we repress, sabi nga natin, no, minsan yung parang ini-ignore lang natin yung emotions, it could lead to actually dissatisfaction and yung pushback against initiatives, no? Pag hindi natin pinapansin yung mga emotions na sinasabi sa atin as a leader, it could actually backfire to us, no? Another lesson learned from failed changes in yung insufficient communication. This one I've learned in different scenarios na kapag kulang yung communication natin, it will always result to misunderstanding and resistance amongst the staff. Okay? So kaya kinakailangan, if we're creating a change effort, dapat meron tayong communication plan na tinatawag. Okay? So again, the best practices from leading organization is the integration of EI into your change management. No? Kailangan mag-create ka ng supportive, no, change environment. No? And of course, what I've shared with you earlier, yung mga guidelines pagdating sa supporting our employees in the change effort. So those are some of the best practices that I'd like to share with you, no? Na pinakita natin kanina. Okay? So as a conclusion, as I wrap up my talk for this afternoon, no? Here are the 3 conclusions that I have for the webinar. So number 1, the importance of emotional intelligence. No, again, it is an essential tool for leaders to effectively manage change and support their teams. No, also another conclusion is we need to foster positive changes inside the organization. No, sabi nga natin, not all changes are bad. No, sometimes we really need to change certain things for us to grow. No, and finally, better outcomes for the organization. No, effective emotional management will lead to improved outcomes for the organization and thereby enhancing productivity and employee morale. No, so with that, no, I end my my talk, no, for this afternoon. I hope that you were able to pick up some important, no, guidelines and points of how you can manage, no, change, and how you can also improve your emotional intelligence in the workplace. So at this point, we are now going to devote some time for our announcement and also our Q&A. So let me now turn over the floor to Aimee and Justin.
Okay, so thank you very much to everyone who's still here. So maraming salamat for staying, and can I just get a quick check? If you like the can I get the dito sa inyong sa react button, can you press yung ano ba yun, yung may parang confetti if you enjoyed and learned a lot from our topic for today. Yan. Yan, yung may confetti. Yan, if you enjoyed it, ayan. Gusto ko lang makita kung na-enjoy nyo. Okay, so on the chat box, okay, if you would like to get more information about our programs, about Talent Reach, no, we're going to put a link there where you can reach us, and also if we may ask to just get your feedback from today's webinar, no? Yan, ipopost ni Justin yung link ng it's a contact form, no? So when you click on it, you will be directed to a form asking for some of your details, and those who will submit will receive a copy of the list of training programs. Will also reach out to you for, or you can also reach out to us directly at info.tr@talentreachph.org. Yan, okay? And again, as what I've said earlier, meron kaming special offer. I-share ko lang. Ayan. Share ko lang yung aking screen, ha? So, right now, while I'm discussing this one, our offer, please go ahead and type your questions on the chat box. Yan. Ito na. Okay. Okay. Ayan. So, bumalik. Are you seeing my screen? So on my screen, ito yung aming exclusive offer. So this is only good for those who are here inside Zoom. Kasi on the chat box, Justin will put the link on the registration link no, sa aming upcoming workshop on mastering talent acquisition strategies. So the rate actually is 2,495, but if you register today up until tomorrow and make your payment, we'll only be offering it to you for 2,000 pesos. So we're scraping off the 495 at it's already good for 2 access. Of course, along with the other with the inclusions in this program, plus a link to the recording. Yan. So yun yung offer. So I do hope that you can join us. This is a very comprehensive webinar and the first paid one that we're going to be having for this year. All right. So let's go back now to the question. Ayan yung link ha. So you can register on the link on the chat box. And if you want to receive more information, you can click the first one, the one that says Roll EQ Free Web. Yun yung ano. Okay? So, ayan. Let me just check kung meron kayong question. Ayan. Or you can also unmute if you would like to ask a question. So, instead of typing, yan, pwede na kayo mag-unmute. Tapos, pwede nyo rin i-on yung video nyo if you want us to see you. Ayan. Alright? Do you have any questions? Ayan.
Or reaction?
Or reactions. Let me just read the reaction nito. Nakakatuwa. No? From Pearl, she said, thank you for this webinar. I wish to participate on your next webinar. Ayan. Ma'am, yung link, hanapin mo na lang nandyan sa chat box, no? If you would like to register, if you would like to find out more about our training programs, public or in-house, interesado kayo for your company, just go to the link. Or you can message us directly. Ayan. Then from Red, thank you so much for this learning session today. It was very helpful. Maraming salamat din, Red, for joining us. Ayan. From Abraham, thank you so much. Ayan. Ayan, from Pearl, the guest is very knowledgeable with the topic. Yes, because Ronnie is a certified social and emotional intelligence coach. Ayan, twice siya na-certify on that particular field. And also, we're offering a full program on this one, both on discovering and developing emotional intelligence as an in-house workshop for your company if you would be interested. No? So we can share what you can expect, no? This as a workshop. Ayan. Ito from Ray. Ayan, meron na tayong question. How can data-driven decision making and EI complement each other in change management?
Okay, it's a very good question. No, thank you, Ray. No, I think earlier last week, no, I was in a talk, no, sa Laguna. I was talking to the Association of Laguna Technopark HR professionals, no, and that was one of the topics that we discussed, no, about yung data-driven decision, no, because nowadays, kailangan natin gamitin yung field of data science, no, meaning kailangan maging acquainted tayo kung paano ba natin dapat maintindihan yung data na nako-collect natin sa workplace, for example. So we need to be able to there's an element of yung data-driven decision making for us to be able to persuade people about it, no? So first off, kailangan maintindihan natin ano ba yung konteksto ng data na we're trying to provide them. And before we make a decision, kailangan mako-convince natin sila by presenting the two sides of the story, no? Unfortunately, no, before kasi may mga certain situations sa isang leader na parang ang style niya is basta sumunod ka na lang, no? Wag ka nang mag-react, for example. So that is not anymore the case right now. Kinakailangan there should be that participation, there should be that collaboration, no? You also allow people to challenge, no? Magkaiba yung question and challenge kung ano yung data, ha. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong challenge the data, ibig sabihin, magbigay ka ng opinion mo to counter na bakit hindi dapat, for example. So in this case, binibigyan mo sila ng pagkakataon na hindi mo lang sinasabi na dapat ito lang yung dapat natin gawin. No, you need to be open, no, to other people's opinions as well, no, because posibleng tama din siya, no? Baka tama yung sinasabi niya. It's not just always the leader who has the last say, sabi nga nila, no? So in this case, yun yung mga pwede mong gawin para ma-integrate natin yung data-driven decision making sa change management.
Yan. So, thank you again, Ray, for giving us that question. I hope somehow we were able to answer this one. Okay. Yeah. So if you have other questions, you're welcome to unmute, no? And even turn on your video and ask your question directly. Ayan. So for those who sent in their request, no, for more inquiries about our programs.
Probably I'd like to pose a certain question na posibleng in one of the kanina no dinidiscuss ko, no. Posibleng na ito typically tinatanong sa akin, especially during my training on EQ, no. So usually tinatanong nila kapag ba nag-take ako ng EQ assessment, for example, yun bang score ko or yung rating ko pwede ba siya mag-improve, no? So the very quick answer is yes, no? Unlike yung IQ score natin, when you take an EQ assessment, yung EQ score natin could further improve pa further, no? If you take it, of course, successively, no? So pwede pa siya natin ma-improve. Unlike IQ typically, it's very hereditary. Ibig sabihin, maswerte ka kung yung magulang mo has a very high IQ. Okay? So napapasa sa'yo. Pero ang EQ, hindi po siya naipapasa sa ng magulang dun sa anak niya. Ang nangyayari is dinidevelop natin yung EQ. No, that's why if you notice in other countries, kasama na sa curriculum ng mga grade school yung emotional intelligence. Okay? So particularly I think sa Singapore, meron na silang EQ component sa curriculum nila.
Yes, I agree, no? I think you were asked that question previously. Yan. So, I remember na meron kong in our invitation that you're going to get an free EQ assessment. That's a short EQ assessment which we will include, no? So, make sure click niyo yung link kanina. Justin, if you can post the link again, no? For the contact form so that you can receive your EQ. So those who will email us or those who will fill up that, you can get your EQ assessment, no? So nandun din naman yung interpretation on how you will score yourself on that short EQ assessment. So we'll include the scoring guidelines. Ayan. So yan, pinost ni Justin yung click nyo if you would like to receive the EQ assessment, yung role of EQ free web. And again, for our offer, if you want to register and get our exclusive rate for 2,000 on our Mastering Talent Acquisition Strategies, click nyo yung Talent Acquisition Strategies na link. Okay, I received question here. Okay, from Maria Cecilia. Hi, ma'am. I think you attended one of our face-to-face webinar, if not, I'm not mistaken, yung job description. And you're a regular on our free webinars. Yan. So maraming salamat po. Yan. Hello, Sir Ronnie. Is IQ more on hard skills while EQ is on soft skills?
Well, you can say it that way, no? IQ kasi tends to focus on yung cognitive and yung language, no, ability of a person. So doon mo masasabi na yung kanyang reasoning, for example, no, pagdating sa IQ. EQ naman, of course, has something to do with the softer skills, no? Pero sabi nga natin, no, even if soft skills siya, necessary siya in terms of being successful in the workplace. Kasi pag ang isang tao, for example, no, mataas yung IQ niya, magaling siya technically, pero hindi siya marunong makisalamuha with other people, no? Wala siyang maturity in terms of decision making, no? So posibleng hindi rin siya maging successful dun sa job niya. Okay? So that's why it's important. So let me emphasize, no? Both IQ and EQ are important pagdating dun sa success on the job. Okay? So makikita natin na kapag balance yung IQ niya at yung EQ niya, for example, most likely the person will tend to be successful at the job.
All right. So thank you again, Miss Maria Cecilia, for that question. Ayan. So pwede pa tayo we can still we still have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions kung meron pa kayong itatanong. And then while you're thinking about that, again, if you would like to receive a copy of the presentation and receive an e-certificate of attendance for joining this webinar, we offer it for only 200. Email niyo lang po kami sa info.tr@talentreachph.org. And also, we'll be sharing the recording for this one. So, invite ko din po kayo if you're following us on Facebook. May I also ask you to go to our visit our YouTube channel. Nandun yung mga recent na free webinars that we conducted, I think, noong January, and even other webinars no, na hindi, possibly hindi nyo napanood. No? So, pwede nyo makita yung, or mapanood doon. I think, yung iba, they prefer to watch it on YouTube. Yan. Okay?
Hi.
Ayan. Sige, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good evening, Sir Ronnie. Lenny here.
Oh, hi, Lenny. Hi, kamusta? Yeah, Lenny.
Yeah, I'm good. Now lang ulit ako naka-attend ng training mo way back from Toyota, from the dealership.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm working in an remote setting right now. So I just want to know, it's an Australian company. What can you just share something that, because engagement is something very difficult when it comes to remote environment, right? So in terms of supporting EI for the team that we're having, what best practices can you share? Because last year we have checked their general satisfaction level. So in supporting them in terms of their EI, no? How can we do it best?
Yeah. Siguro what I would suggest, no, if it's a remote work setup, it's always important yung presence of yung check-ins na tinatawag natin. No? So meaning, checking in with the person on kung ano yung kanyang current status, for example. No? So there are different ways, no, na pwede natin gawin. For example, you can utilize yung sinabi ko kanina, assessing yung emotional intelligence by creating yung self-report, for example. No? Because in that way, mas maintindihan mo yung individual person that you're dealing with. No? So, nakakatulong din, for example, if you're able to train your leaders, no, to be more emotional intelligent, no, on how to be able to practice, no, yung listening, how to practice empathy, no, how to be able to build, no, relationship. And I think, no, one of the things kasi that can be missing in a remote work setup, yung sinasabi nating parang yung intimacy, no, with the employee, for example, yung parang we really get to know that person, not just on a work level, no, kailangan whenever you interact with that person, if you have the chance, no, kailangan magkaroon kayo ng chance for the personal aspect as well. So Although of course it will take some time, pero I do believe na if you get to be able to get to know that person, no? Parang mas madali mong maintindihan kung ano yung nagiging emotional reaction niya if ever na merong mga certain situations sa company, no? And again, just like I mentioned kanina doon sa webinar, always make sure na kapag sa tingin natin yung mga changes na nangyayari sa organization, meron siyang threat to stability or security, no? Always try to provide some kind of assurance. Yun. So, sa communication natin, dapat laging may assurance na we're trying to protect, no? And consider yung stability and also yung security. Kasi madalas yan ang reaction ng employee kapag nararamdaman niya posibleng may apekto doon sa trabaho niya, job security, pagkawala ng mga kasamahan niya, for example. So, those are the things, no, na pwede niyong gawin to be able to support yung employees using emotional intelligence.
Okay, that's insightful. Thank you.
Sige. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Ms. Lenny, for that question. And it's nice to have you. I remember na yung naging ating, I think it was online way back
Yes.
2021, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had our vision mission,
Yeah.
modification.
Yeah.
Training. Thank you for joining us today and for, of course, for asking that question. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
All right. So,
Okay.
let me just quickly check kung meron pa ba. Okay, I think, ayan. So, if you have other questions, you're welcome to send us a message, no, on our Facebook page, or you can also email us at info.tr@talentreachph.org. Ayan. So, yung mga link that's on the chat box, just click on that. If you would like to receive the EQ assessment form, and also that's also our way of to be able to share the other programs that we offer, and also the link if you would like to take our offer, no, this is exclusive lang talaga for those who attended. If you register and pay up until tomorrow, no, for mastering talent acquisition strategies, which is happening on March 14. Ayan. So make sure na i-follow niyo po kami sa aming social media platforms. So we're on Facebook, we're also on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. Ayan. Sa TikTok meron din, pero
we have somebody raising her hand.
ayan,
Rachel.
sige.
Yeah.
Let me check lang. Medyo malayo siya.
Rachel. I see.
Yes,
I
go,
see
if you
Rachel.
can unmute yourself, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Well, my question is about emotions, no? Especially at work. We all know that emotions are never planned. So during incidents that are heightened emotion or outbursts of emotion because of basically nakakagalit yung situation. So how do you move out or how do you manage controls on that incident? Because it's really hard. No?
Yeah. Siguro what I would suggest, no, when there are incidences where emotions are very high, no, for some people, they use yung tinatawag nating venting, no, kapag galit sila, for example. So you just allow the person, no, to be able to vent out, no, the emotions, for example, but still remain calm, no. At the same time, no, another possible strategy that you can take, no, is to walk away from it. Okay? If you are not capable of dealing with that emotion at this time, no, you can try to step away from that particular situation. Okay? And no, don't try to be able to, kasi sometimes, sabi nga natin, in very stressful situation, people can get the worst out of you. What do I mean? No, ibig sabihin, kapag very stressful yung situation, you don't want them, no, to see, no, the worst in you. Okay? Kasi pag lumabas yun sa'yo, no, magkakaroon sila ngayon ng parang misalignment o kung paano kanila nakikita. Okay? So in that case, as much as you can, no, try to be able to usually as a way of reacting, we need to learn how to pause. Okay? Ibig sabihin, bago ka magsalita or bago ka mag-react dun sa sinabi ng tao, think about the possible consequences ng sasabihin mo. Okay? So usually, if you want to pause, no, try to breathe first, no? Kasi especially pag you're very emotional, no, try to breathe, no, for about 10 to 30 seconds. Okay? And then from there, kailangan mag-clear out muna kung ano yung naiisip mo before you speak out again. Okay? Avoid natin yung sinasabi natin kagad kung ano yung gusto nating sabihin. Kasi sometimes, no, the first thing that comes to our mind might not be the right thing to say. Okay? Kaya kailangan pag-isipan muna natin, ano ba yung dapat kong sabihin dito sa situation na to. Yeah. So those are tips, no, that I can suggest for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
again, Rizal. Okay, so I think our time is up yung ating schedule na, so we were able to complete this particular webinar. So again, maraming salamat po for those who are still here. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you again on our next webinar. So we'll be announcing one. It's going to be very interesting. So kaya i-follow niyo po kami because the next one that we're having, isi-send na namin sa inyo yung what you can expect, no? So it's something that we haven't done in quite, I think, in a while. So hopefully this one would also be very helpful dun sa mga mag-join. And okay, so again, thank you everyone. We hope to see you again. Ang aming email is info.tr@talentreachph.org. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we do hope that you follow us there. Thank you everyone, and have a good night to everyone. Stay safe.